guys, welcome back to Crunch Time, the show where you get the best NBA DFS picks each and every day. Today we have a nice 9-game slate here on this sunny Monday here in Vancouver. Joined as always with Chris. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I'm excited for the slate here. We have a little bit of a bigger one, so that's always exciting.
Yep. What did we have? Yesterday was what, five gamer, right? And we had like a 4 game.
I don't remember, something like that.
We had a 4 gamer, I think, on like Thursday or something as well. Yeah, should be a good one. I'm excited for it as well. Hopefully there's some good injury news to take advantage of today. But before we get into the slate, let's go over some of the success from yesterday. So I think let me close this. I think today's the landscaping day, so there's going to be a lot of lawnmowers. Got to close the window. But let's go to the success. We got Nick here first. NBA on DK early slate here from yesterday. Did some single entry cash stuff, and then it looks like a tournament here. Crushed it. Dakota. Do you know what slate this was, Chris?
NBA, I think, early.
NBA early, and then this looks like baseball. Not sure if it's Maine or what, but crushed over there. Nick playing baseball as well, 88 to 180 crushed. You playing baseball on FanDuel, 265 into 800. So you definitely crushed there as well. Probably a high score there. Hit your tournaments and do you do quintuple ups or anything or no?
Yeah.
So
I mean, I had a lot of home runs in this lineup.
So you hit all your quintuple ups in tournaments probably here.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Nick here again. How did he do this? 26 into 335? How does he do that? NASCAR, $20, 323. That's nice.
Yeah, I think he was at the top of the contest.
That's not too shabby at all. That's nice. Love to see it. Here it is. First place. Was this split a bit or no? Let's see. Probably. Do you know?
Yeah, probably. I mean, they never have a 289.28 to first place.
Yeah, good one. You're right. Wait, does this show you the progress of the race?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I've never played NASCAR, so I have no idea. Did you play?
Yeah, I usually play a little bit. I mean,
nice.
Yeah, I have to.
Yeah, you do have to. You're the DFS guru. Shout out to Nick. That's awesome. Good results there. Nice hit, like you said. Mike over here, what did he do? Wait, is this the same thing? Did he split it with him?
Yeah, I mean, they probably did split it together.
What did he do? 20 to 239, and then Nick did 20 to 320. So Nick beat him a little bit, but looks like they split first there. So that's awesome. Love to see that. Shout out to Mike as well. I mean, Nick, he played like every slate yesterday. He's pulling a Rajon Rondo over here. Afternoon MLB slate for him. Crushing every slate, every sport yesterday. Dakota here, 3570. Just a print fest today from the Opto, Chris. more Nick, 40 to 82. More Dakota, 100 to 102 or to 202. And then, is this a different MLB slate, Chris?
Yeah, this was the night game.
Yeah, it's just everywhere here. T-Bay here again, 7 to 12, killing it. What do you think of his lineup here, Chris? Was this the optimal cash route? Was any questionable choices here?
No, it's the same thing he always does. He just has the earlier lineup because he doesn't update it. But yeah, I mean, it was clearly good here. He didn't end up with Vernon Carey. So yeah, he was definitely on fire here.
Do you think he does that? I think he does that on purpose. He likes the earlier one, sticks with it. Or do you think he just doesn't come back?
Yeah, I don't think he comes back.
So you don't think it's a deliberate decision by him?
No, I don't think so.
Calling out T-Bay. Little biscuit here. Huh?
Not really. I mean, I don't see any problems with it. I mean, I just don't think it's on purpose.
Yeah, maybe not. We can ask him next time. But Little biscuit here. What sport is this? Golf?
Yeah.
All of this is golf. Yeah, Yeah, Dinda's killing it in golf. Knows his stuff. You know golf a bit, Chris. I don't know much golf.
Yeah.
But yeah, solid stuff out of Little Biscuit. Love to see that. T-Bay's here. He says, no, I do come back, but I just stick to my gut. So
Well,
it's deliberate, Chris.
then I'm wrong. Yeah, I'm wrong then.
No faith in T-Bay. You think he just sets it and goes away, gets busy with his day.
That's what I thought.
Then we have Nick here again. This is NBA main slate on DraftKings. I guess this is another main slate lineup over there. Tournament stuff from him in NBA, 80 to 183. Yeah, 183 in tournaments. That's awesome. Love to see that. Was that recently posted? No, but oh my god, there's quite a bit of stuff here, Chris, to go over. Snow 50, 135. Turn and burn here, 285 into 900 almost. That's a big one right there. Shout out to Turn and Burn. Love to see that. Chris over here, that's you. 1K into 3K. So that's awesome as well. Rookie here, Puppy Instructor, 26 to 55. Shout out to her. Ultra boosted. Posting the DraftKings notification. That's what happens when you aren't on your phone after the slates end, right, Chris? That's the best you can get after the slate ends if the contest starts going into the history tab. Dakota here again, 63, 126. Rondo. This is what you thought Thomas does. Forgot to change my lineup, it's still cash. That's what you thought T-Bay did, Chris.
No, because this is just a placeholder lineup. This wasn't anything close to the optimizer. He just filled it out last night and forgot to update it because it was early in the mornings. It says 8 a.m. But yeah, he had a player who was not in the lineup with Moncada. So I mean, that's not the power of DFS Crunch. So I mean, yeah, you won't get players out of the lineup with DFS Crunch.
There is some DFS Crunch power, though. Does he have the DFS Crunch logo on DraftKings?
Yeah.
There's some of that power right there. But this wasn't the Opto power. This was the good luck of the DFS Crunch logo power.
Yeah.
Yeah. Power of Jean Rondeau. I saw him posting something. He sent me a screenshot once. I think he was talking to like the DK support or something to cancel some of his entries. I don't know if you saw this one, if he sent it to you. But then like the DraftKings support person was like, oh, that's a really nice username or something.
Yeah, I think it's happened a few times, actually. He sent me that more than once.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny. What do you think of this name, Chris?
It's a good name. I think I helped him come up with it because he had his real name as his handle before.
Yeah, he did. What now? We got to go over your lineups here. So I guess you didn't win on FanDuel. We can start there. Yeah, what happened here, Chris? Why didn't you win?
I mean, this guy here, Vernon Carey, he had 2 fouls in the first 30 seconds, came back in, picked up 2 more fouls in 2 minutes. So he had like 3 minutes in the first half with 4 fouls. Started the third quarter, second half, obviously. Played like 4 minutes, looked awful, and he didn't come back in the game. So that's why I lost here. Had him on DK as well, but rest of my DraftKings lineup was pretty much crazy. But yeah, Vernon Carey here, 2.2. That's what cost me.
Do you think we can get his highlights here?
He didn't have any highlights.
Like, is there any replay of his fouls or anything?
Probably not.
Yeah, the last highlights I can see for him 2 days ago, so that's not this slate, unfortunately.
Yeah, so two games ago he played 34 minutes. I think he got 33 fantasy points. So yeah, that's kind of what we were hoping for with him starting again. Probably like, I don't know, 28 minutes because PJ was back, but still, I mean, yesterday foul trouble.
21 points the other day.
Yeah, 34 fantasy points.
That's what you were looking for, right?
Not really. I was just looking for his minutes.
Yeah. Why was he fouling so much? What happened? Were they bad fouls, or like did you catch any of them?
I don't know. No, I caught a few of them. But yeah, I mean, he's young, big. That's what happens.
You think he's getting picked on by the refs, getting brooked?
A little bit, yeah.
I would totally do that if I was a ref. Actually, no, would I? You got to do a little bit of that, right, Chris?
No, I don't think so.
No.
That's why we need the robot refs, so everything is even. That's what we strive for.
Robot refs? We'll get those one day. For sure. I can see that happening. You like those robot refs, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because we do stop the game quite a bit for like video reviews anyway, so let's see what we got in the chat before we open up. Actually, wait, no, we did this. Do you want to go over anyone else's lineup here, Chris, or not really?
We can. I mean, I was pretty close to the cash line here. Like, I think it was like maybe 10, 15 points off. Let's see what it was. 342. So I was 10 points off. Yeah, like I said, Vernon Carey here, my lowest owned guy, 2.2. So that's what cost me. Had a few other low owned guys, pretty much the ones that matter here, Bacon and Flynn. Bacon went 10x. Flynn, he did fine. But I mean, if you have Vernon Carey here, you're not going to cash.
Yeah.
Especially because I didn't have Terry Rozier either.
Scary Terry.
Look at some of the first place teams. I think he's probably like 30-40% owned.
Let's see. Yeah, 44.
Yeah, so I didn't have Scary Terry, who went for 65. Didn't have Jayshawn Tate, went for 43. Cole Anthony, 40. So, I mean, all of that on top of Vernon Carey going for 2. So that's what happened here. But if we look at DraftKings, it tells a whole different story because we had Scary Terry there. We had Vernon Carey as well, but everything else was just crazy. So DraftKings did really well.
Yeah. Okay, let's see what we got here in the chat before we do DK, Chris.
No, let's just do DK first, and then we can go into the chat. Just so we get it over with quickly.
Oh, got turn and burn here.
Yeah, and actually the third guy is also DFS Crunch. But yeah, so this lineup had Vernon Carey as well. He was the low-owned guy here. But I mean, everyone else here did really well. We had Bacon go pretty much like 8x. 34 fantasy points, 4.1k. Rozier here, 70 fantasy points, 8.3k. He was also low owned. So if, like, I mean, I did really well in tournaments here. If Vernon Carey got like 20, 25, I would have taken down pretty much everything I entered. But yeah, obviously that didn't happen here. Yeah, but I mean, it's good to see that I pretty much broke even with both sites just because this lineup did so well. I think I actually won a little bit of money because I won some head-to-heads on FanDuel. But
you won on FanDuel too?
No, I won a few head-to-heads because, I mean, head-to-heads, you could have players who didn't have Rozier. You could have players who also had Carey, stuff like that.
Yeah. Does Vernon Carey upset you, Chris?
No. I mean, I thought he was a good play. Thought he would get minutes. Good price tag. Yeah. Decent matchup. So, no, not at all.
Not at all. Wait, so you're saying this guy's Cruncher?
Mm-hmm.
Does he have the Cruncher logo?
No.
Whose Discord is it?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Do you want to go over anyone else here?
I mean, well, let's see who else is here.
BK Ryder,
let's see this team. So this team had Cole Anthony. It had Melo, so I don't really want to talk about a team with Melo because he was so low owned. So he was probably the last piece there. It had Luka. Yeah, not really this team either. Let's see this one. So yeah, this team is pretty interesting. I guess this is the same team as Chipotle. This one had Paul Watson and Wendell Carter Jr. And I mean, I think this was like a 4v4 with Watson, Watanabe, Carter, and Doncic. So pretty different construction here. This one obviously didn't have Rozier, but at the same time, it didn't have Vernon Carey. So yeah, I mean, if you think this 12-point snowflake from Watson is bad, the 2-point snowflake from Vernon Carey is even worse.
Yeah, for sure. Anyone else?
No, I think we're good.
Okay, now let's go in the chat. So T-Bay says, only when I play basketball, I play the old lineup. Can't check my phone while I hoop. And then Ghostman here says he thinks he's going to sign up. I was going to say to that one, Chris, that you can get a trial. So if you've never signed up before, Ghostman, just go to our site, set up your account, and then you get a free 3-day trial automatically applied. So you could try us out completely free. More than welcome to cancel anytime during that trial and won't be charged at all. So no risk at all and all the upside. So try it out. What else do we have? T-Bay says, was a little worried when I went away from Rozier. Palms were sweating for sure.
Yeah, Rozier, I mean, he was a really good play. I don't know if I should have landed on him or anything like that. I like the combo I had on FanDuel with Luka and Malachi Flynn, but I mean, Rozier was a great play. I think he was on the Roto Grinders team, actually. But yeah, that happens sometimes.
Yeah. What else do we have? Austin's calling Vernon. What is his name? Vernon Carey. He's saying Sir slaps a lot. Hope he gets top shot for fouling. Yeah, I was like, Nick says funny. Low lights for Vernon Carey, Chris. I was looking for those. There's a good YouTube channel for low lights. Actually, it has like highlights of every player. Like NF Classic.
Oh, that one.
Yeah,
I know on Reddit they do someone does some low lights.
Yeah, this one, NF Classic, the YouTube channel, they just post like, or I can open it up in a sec. Let's see. They just post like a bunch of random players. Yeah, just like every possession of a random player here.
So it's not low lights?
I mean, just sometimes everyone? It is though. Like one view, Paul Watson, all possessions. So if you want to like scout out a player here, this is actually pretty good. Like they get some That's random cool. Players, huh?
That's pretty cool. I mean, Thomas probably knows this, but I mean, look at that video. It says Dwayne Bacon, left up, right down. It says Dwayne Bacon all possessions, but it's a 20-second video. So I mean, did he only play? Oh, this wasn't last game. Is this a new channel or something? Because this was uploaded 1 hour ago, and this wasn't last game.
Yeah, they just always post stuff. I'm not sure how it works. But I'm guessing so. No one knows about it. 600 subscribers. Yeah, I mean, what is this? 2 possessions for him?
Do you have are you subscribed?
Yeah.
Do you have the bell button? You have to show the people how it's done.
Right here. I don't want to click it for this. I don't want to get Dwayne Bacon all possession sent to my
inbox.
You
have to show the people how it's done for this channel that we're on right now.
Oh yeah, so you just click this subscribe button for our channel.
Scroll down because my camera's blocking it.
Oh yeah, it's right here. Click this. I mean, people know how to do it. How to subscribe? That's how I don't know how to do it. The bell button's right beside the subscribe, so you hit the bell button. But then you also have to click all. So it's like, subscribe, bell button, all. That's the song, Chris. You have to do all of those things.
Yeah, so I'm just saying that because I've never ever clicked the all button on any channel that I've watched. So I didn't know how to do it. I
mean, if you could watch this channel, you probably would click it, right, Chris?
Yeah.
Right, Chris? Yeah. And then what else do we have? We have some more chat here before we get into the slate. Deadman for the win tonight at bare minimum price on DK from Nick. Chris, what do you think of that one?
No Bam Bam. I'm good with it.
Yeah. What else do we have? T-Bay says, robot refs are the worst idea for the NBA. Shaking my head. The players need that human interaction. There is a lot of emotion in the game. Disappointed. Yeah, I'm not saying it's a good idea. I think it's kind of more exciting when it's like kind of a bit raw. But they're already doing so many like reviews where it's like just like inconsistent. Like some things get reviewed, some don't, and it's like a play in the first, I don't know, like they have like that last 2-minute review period where anything can be reviewed or something like that, but then the rest of the game isn't like that. It's just kind of weird how it is now. So I feel like the direction they're heading towards would probably be kind of like that. But Brandon says robot refs for the NBA would be stupid and impossible. I was going to say it's not impossible. Like a lot of teams already do. Go watch this video, actually. I think I watched it like 5 years ago or something. But math behind basketball's wildest moves. I think this guy has like a company. They do machine learning on the NBA.
Yeah, and this was 5 years ago. So imagine what it's like now.
Yeah, so they have they taught like a, I don't know, they have like a program, machine learning program that learned basketball, and the program here actually gets like a bunch of advanced statistics. Like it can get like it can track everything, like who sets a screen, like if a screen leads to a basket, like it can track everything like that. This was 5 years ago, so I mean, yeah, like over here, like they analyze like pick and roll actions, like going over, going under. So teams can use this to like see how to best guard particular players like that. So all this is done automatically. So they just taught like a program how basketball works, and then it kind of collects all this data. So that was 5 years ago, like Chris said. So you can do this for reffing. You can do this in real time in the future.
It's like a basketball optimizer.
I mean, it really is. Like the game makes the game different. So that's 5 years ago. Take a look at this video if you don't believe it. But yeah, refereeing and calls like that, they can definitely do that as long as they have like enough cameras. I mean, this is definitely easier to do and can be better done than like an autonomous vehicle like a Tesla. Like this is way easier than that. So, because this is so like, it's pretty confined, the game. The rules are very defined. So definitely possible for sure. Check that video out if you're curious. Says MLB could do it easily. Easily use robots for balls and strikes for sure. Will never happen for NBA though. I don't know about that. I think it definitely can happen. I don't know if it should happen though. What do you think, Chris? Should it?
I mean, if you're saying it can't happen, I mean, you're just, I don't know what to tell you. Like, you're probably, I don't even know what to say, but I mean, should they is the argument. Like, it could happen for any sport. Any sport could do it. But yeah, I mean, the argument is, should they? MLB, I think they should. I mean, I think they should in every sport. Like, people want consistent calls, stuff like that. So, I mean, if you solve that issue, I think that's a good thing. Thomas said the human interaction between the players and refs. I mean, after like, I don't know, a few weeks of them not being there, I think everyone would get used to it. So I'm definitely not opposed to it. I think it would be a good thing, but I'm probably the unpopular opinion on this.
Well, I don't even think you have to get rid of the refs, but like I said, like they video review everything, and then it takes time. It already slows down the game. Like nobody, I don't think people really enjoy waiting for the video review to come through. You just get a bunch of commercials. So
I guess the league probably enjoys it because they get more commercials. The TV companies probably enjoy it. So I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, and then let's see. Yeah, it's definitely. I don't know why Brandon's saying it's impossible. Like if you can gather all this stuff for sure, so it's definitely possible. Yeah. Austin says, I thought it was smart and played 2 lines with Doncic. I feel very fortunate to cash last night.
Yeah, he scored like 30. I had him in my FanDuel lineup. He had like, it didn't help me at all because I mean I had Vernon Carey, but he had like 30 in the fourth quarter, maybe like 35, and then he went up to 60 by the end of that game. So it hurt my DraftKings because he was pretty popular there. I was winning more on DK. But yeah, it didn't really help my FanDuel, so it wasn't great for me. But yeah, he went crazy in the fourth.
Yeah. Royal King says Luka received his 12th technical. He's like 5 away from suspension. And then Royal King also says players versus the refs at this point. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean,
I agree with that. The way the game's being played now, a lot of players try to exploit the refereeing as is, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think people like that, but I don't know why they're opposed to having consistent rules. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, Brandon says, I tried to tell Chris not to play Vernie, but he never listens.
I mean, I think he was a good play. Like, I still think he was a fine play. I didn't think he would get 4 fouls in the first half. Thought he would play probably 24 to 28 minutes because Biyombo is out of the rotation now. But yeah, it didn't work out. So I mean, it worked out on DraftKings because it got me all those other pieces. So it didn't kill me, but yeah, I still thought it was a fine play. I still think it's a fine play as well.
Yeah, and then Austin says that McLovin line from DK earlier was an earlier crunch lineup.
Yeah, I think that one was before Vernon Carey was announced starting because he wasn't in optimals at all before. he was announced starting because PJ Washington, it was his first game back. So yeah, after he was announced starting, that's when he started to pop a little bit. But I mean, he didn't have a crazy projection. It was probably like 18, 19, 20. So I mean, it's not like we projected him to go crazy like 30 points or 25 points.
Yeah. Let's see. So I guess McLevin went with his gut, Chris. He saw the earlier crunch opto, liked it, and then just went with his gut like T-Bay. Maybe him and T-Bay are working together. Ghostman says he's signing up, trying it out, says we're not playing around, Chris. Ghostman also says, can I get Discord? Yeah, you do get access to the Discord. You should get an email, but if you did not, just send me a DM. Where is it? Start here, maybe? I don't know. Yeah, send me a DM. Just go to the start here, click my name here, and then send me a message, and then I'll give you your code. Just give me your email as well, just so I know what account to get the code from. What else? Brandon says, for NBA, you need times where you don't call fouls, and you could literally call fouls at every play. Not possible to call a game with AI.
I mean, that's why you like have your whatever settings. I don't know what to call them, settings or not, but I mean, you program it to call it the way you want it. So you don't program to call every ticky-tack foul. I don't know. Like, you could probably. I don't know. I don't know exactly how it works. You probably know better.
You know, I guarantee that the NBA already has this for grading officiating. Like, they have some sort of. They probably have like a trial run that they're doing for this, but they also have like human grading for officials, because they do grade officials, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guarantee you they do look at that. Like, they probably do have something that they're working on to grade officials and their performances, how they do using that. I'm not saying they don't have like a human element on top of that or in conjunction with that, but definitely they have that for sure. Says has nothing to do with calling a game. That's stats. Absolutely zero chance it'll ever happen for the NBA. Like minus 200% chance. You should place a bet with him, Chris. Because I mean, you guys.
I don't want to place like a 20-year bet with him.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be a while. T-Bay says I sound like a Gen Z, Chris.
A Gen Z?
Just because I'm visionary.
Okay.
World King says can see that for tennis or something. Yeah, definitely a lot of sports. But like I said, like I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Like I don't know if the NBA with the video, like adding the video reviews, I don't know if that's a more entertaining product for fans than when we didn't have video reviews or didn't use them as much. Like I don't know which product is better for the fans.
I don't think it's just about video reviews. For me, it's just getting the call right. That's all I care about. Like consistently getting the call how it should be. Like my definition of right could be different from someone else's, but as long as it's in the rule book and it's called how it is in the rule book, then I'm good with it.
And like on top of that, just to call Brandon out a bit more, like they have the coaches challenge right now. Like you'd have to be pretty naive to think that NBA teams aren't working in collaboration with companies that do like AI analytics on calls, because there's a slim window of when you can call, like declare a challenge or not. And if you had like an AI that helped you decide whether or not to challenge something, like that's a huge advantage as opposed to a team that didn't have that. Like obviously that's super beneficial in terms of being a competitive team if you have something like that or if you don't. So it just seems like the natural progression. If it's going to help teams win games, it'll happen like that. And then if it'll help officials get calls right or get video reviews faster, it'll also happen like that. So that's what I think. Brandon says they would just call a foul on each play. Says could happen in sports like tennis or MLB for sure, and it would help a lot. Yeah, Ghostman says cool. Let's get into the slate, Chris. Nine games here, so 18 teams to choose from. Just quickly here before we start breaking it down game by game. Any favorite news from you today?
So I think the Pistons give us a lot of value. They're resting a bunch of guys today. They're kind of resting guys in sets. Today's when they're resting their veterans, so Jeremy Grant, Mason Plumlee, Corey Joe, Magruder, Ellington, they're all out today. So we have some value there. Miami Heat, Bam Adebayo is out today. I think someone else. Oh yeah, Hero was ruled out, but now he's questionable. So that's a situation to monitor. It doesn't matter too much just because we have Bam out. That's where we get a lot of value from. Deadman on DraftKings. Butler's a good play on both sites with no Bam. So I like that spot. Grizzlies, Joe Val's out with a concussion. So we have Xavier Tillman, who's pretty interesting. I like him. And then the Wizards, once again, we always like to kind of play one of their studs because they're always in the high total games with the fast pace that they play at. So Westbrook and Beal, I'm good with both of them today. We have a big slate, so a lot of viable options, but the spots I mentioned are my favorites. I mentioned a bunch of spots, but we'll get into it.
Brandon here, one more comment, says definitely working for AI stuff like that, but there's no way it could call a full game.
I'll just say this. I'll say it's. I'm fine with the human refs in NBA. I think in baseball, that's where they definitely need to use it for the strikes and balls because there's some umps that are just awful, very inconsistent. So I think in baseball, that's where it should happen next. I think NBA is more of like a long-term, probably like 15 to 25 year thing. Like I think MLB should be in the next 3 years.
Yeah, as long as the problem is pretty simple. Like you need cameras to get to see stuff, which they already have, and then you need computers that are fast enough to analyze it in real time. So that's definitely something to work on. But T-Bay says he just got stung by a wasp for real. Rozier got in my house.
Hornet?
Yeah. all the way from Charlotte.
He's been playing out of his mind. Like he's just crazy. Maybe not all season, but especially recently. Like he's been playing out of his mind.
He needs his own team, Chris. Go-to guy.
He has it right now with no LaMelo, no Hayward.
Yeah, for sure.
But even with them, he was playing well before.
Yeah. So first up, Chris, Cleveland, Detroit. You mentioned this game already. Let's go over Cleveland. Dotson out, Nance out, Windler out for Cleveland. Projected starters: Darius Garland, Sexton, Coro, Kevin Love, and Jarrett Allen. Anybody on the Cleveland side, Chris?
So yeah, I'm not interested in this side at all, especially in cash games. I think maybe if you're, just because you're going to be playing a bunch of Pistons for value. If you want to use someone as a bring back, you can use someone in tournaments like Garland, Sexton, Allen, Love. I don't really like the price tags on any of them, so I'm not going to talk about them too much. I guess if I had to pick one guy, maybe Kevin Love is my favorite. Maybe Jarrett Allen. I kind of like the bigs here a little more. Or Sexton because he has the ceiling upside. So maybe Sexton. So it's kind of tough. Probably like a last piece guy in tournaments if you want to use someone as a bring back. But for me, I'm not going to play anyone here. I just don't think it's really necessary. I'm fine playing the Pistons guys on their own here today.
Got it. Detroit side, Dennis Smith Jr., Mason Plumlee, Corey Joseph, Wayne Ellington, Dumbuya, Jeremy Grant, and McGruder all out. Hamidou Diallo back in. Projected starters: Killian Hayes, Frank Jackson, Josh Jackson, Sadiq Bey, and Isaiah Stewart. Anybody here, or I guess who on Detroit do you like today, Chris?
Yeah, so I like everyone, but for me, I'm probably going to stick with their starters. So I kind of agree with the projected starters that you just mentioned. I think those are the guys that are going to start. I'll go over all of them. Killian Hayes at point guard. He's the first guy you mentioned. He's 3.9 on FanDuel. DraftKings 3.7. So probably a little bit of a better price tag on DraftKings. FanDuel. We have some other point guards available today. We have Dragic with no Bam, so that's a bump. Hero's questionable. He was out before, but now he's questionable again. So maybe I prefer Hayes over Dragic now, but still, I think Hayes is probably a little bit of a better play on DK. He's a little cheaper, like I mentioned. Then you had Frank Jackson at the 2. He's 3.2K over on DraftKings. Obviously, you get the bonus for 3-pointers there. So I think he's a really good value option there for 3-2. And then next up, you had Josh Jackson at the 3. He's 5.1 on DraftKings. FanDuel, he's a little bit more expensive at 5.5. So kind of we're noticing a pattern here. These guys are all more expensive on FanDuel. less expensive on DraftKings, so that's where I like them more. So Josh Jackson, same thing. Like him a lot on DraftKings. He's probably a lock for me there as of now. He's probably the only Piston that's a lock for me on DraftKings. And then next up, Sadiq Bey, 5'2" on FanDuel. DraftKings, he is 5'3". So he's the guy that's a little bit more expensive on DraftKings. I like him on both sites as a last piece. I'm not gonna like lock him in or anything like that, just because I think he's priced fairly. But as a last piece in that range, I do like him quite a bit. And then Cover Boy, the guy who gets the big bump with Plumlee out is Isaiah Stewart. He is 4.8K on FanDuel. DraftKings, he's 5'2". So it's kind of an interesting situation, especially on DraftKings. So on FanDuel, he's just an easy lock because he's power forward. But DraftKings, it's a little bit more difficult because he's only center eligible. We have some spend ups in center, and we have a really good value guy. So we have Jokic at center, 11K, only center eligible there. So that's one center position. And then you have Dwayne Dedmon for the min. He's only center eligible as well. He's 3K, no Bam Adebayo. So it's a little harder to play Isaiah Stewart on DraftKings, where you can only play two centers. And like I said, on FanDuel, he's power forward. So he's the tricky guy. I like him a lot. I have him on the cover today. DraftKings cash games, it might be a little harder to get to him. So I mean, I don't know. It's a tricky situation. Like I said, I like him a lot in tournaments there as well. Like we've seen him go for 50 in this spot. So I don't know. Definitely a tricky situation with the value that we have here today.
Yep. Let's see. T-Bay Chris, he said he actually got stung. He said he's not joking. I just got stung. My finger is red. Do you believe him?
Stung on your finger. I mean, how do you not notice?
We need to get we need a picture in the Discord, in our Discord chat. Some proof, Thomas.
Yeah, let's see it.
Yeah, finger is red. Brendan says, I think we actually agree with Brendan, or at least I do. He says he's not arguing they don't have the tech or cameras for it. He's just saying it's going to be too accurate. He says there's 5 fouls on every player that can be called. Some games get more physical than others and need to be called differently. Yeah, I agree, but I agree with that as well. I mean,
there's also 6 fouls per player, so maybe we shouldn't take Brandon's basketball advice here.
Is it 5 in FIBA?
It's 5 in college. I don't know about FIBA. I mean,
Got it.
Probably 5.
But yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I don't know if it's like I said, like, I don't know if the product was better, like earlier when they didn't do as many video reviews, if it was more exciting for the fans to watch. Like, I don't know. Also, like, when refs and players could, like, trash talk. I don't know. There weren't as many. Were there always as many technicals, Chris? For like it was definitely grittier before, right? The game.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak on it. I'm pretty young, so I can't really speak on it too much. I don't really like to give an opinion where I don't know what I'm talking about. So yeah, I don't really know. Yeah. I mean, everything I've read suggests so, but like I said, I personally don't know.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, the officiating's always changing, so I don't know if it's a better product or not. So, but it just seems like the direction that NBA would like to head, like at least some form of assistance for the human referees. He says dummies. I said 5 fouls per play, as in a possession.
Okay, well, yeah, I don't know. Like, maybe assisted, like you said, if they get some buzzer or something,
shock them.
I don't know.
Shock them. Shock
like
a shock collar. Shock them when they get it wrong.
Yeah.
Missed a foul. Adam Silver just shocks them, Chris. Bzz.
Yeah, that could be a good idea.
Yeah, that would be good. Solo says, "What's up, Crunchers?" And he says, Pokushevsky. Was he on fire yesterday?
I mean, I was watching that game. He had some crazy passes, but he's definitely in play today. They're missing a few guys. Dort, someone else as well. I think, but we'll get into that.
He's kind of playing like a point guard role, kind of passing the ball, facilitating, bringing it up a bit. Looks kind of odd, but kind of nice to watch. I like it.
Yeah, he's a unicorn.
He's so tall. Like, his passes look so strange. Like, they look so easy. Like, he could just like throw them over his defender and it's like nothing, whereas like other players would have to do like a ball fake or something if like they're the same height. He just gets to like throw it over and he sees everything. So it's kind of interesting to watch it.
There's a player going to Gonzaga next year. I think he's projected to be the number one pick in the following draft. He's kind of similar. He's super long, kind of like KD. His name is Chet Holmgren. You should watch his highlights. He looks really good.
I don't know how to spell his name. Chet.
Yeah, Chet and then Holm Holmgren.
Oh yeah. Okay, I'll watch it.
Put him on the screen. Let's just see some pictures of him because he has that stickman figure like Bol, Chris Boucher, Pokashevsky. So I mean this stickman figure is the future.
Stickman figure. Chris Boucher definitely needs to teach all these young guys how to fall down and not get hurt because he is definitely like one of the best at it, Chris, by far.
Go to the videos. This guy's a beast. Let's just see a quick 30 seconds, 20 seconds. Just click on videos. I think you can see it here.
What do you think of that Chris Boucher commentary there, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, he can definitely fall. Yeah, just skip to somewhere random. This guy's gonna be the next big thing.
Is he just like way bigger here though? It's hard to tell.
He's playing with his mask, but yeah. He's I don't know. He's very smooth. He can move well. That's the thing.
How tall is he?
Like Pokashevsky. He's 7'1".
I mean, it just looks. I mean, here the competition looks terrible compared to him.
Go back. Let's see another video because I was watching one earlier today. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe not. Let's go to that one. Top plays. The fourth video.
You gonna lock him in, Chris?
Yeah, this guy's a beast. I guess you can't tell here, but I was watching a video where the competition looked a little better and he looked really good.
Yeah. Chris is already doing the scouting report for like 2 years from now for DFS. That's how you become a mid to high stakes player, like Chrissair DFS. Solo says Trevor Ariza sneaky play. I don't know if I read that one.
Yeah, he's definitely sneaky, especially if Hero ends up being ruled out, if Iggy's out. So they have a bunch of questionable guys. Yeah. So we'll have to wait for that.
Jargus says, OKC, Chris, no love for Hamidou Diallo. He's back in there, so.
Hamidou Diallo, I'm fine with him. I think his minutes have kind of been inconsistent. Let me just see. Yeah, he's played 18 minutes. He hasn't played 18 minutes in the last 5 games, so, I mean, it's kind of hard to play him. I sent you the picture, by the way.
Should we open this and ask the people if he really got stung?
Yeah, because that's definitely not a sting.
I see
nothing.
Is that like? I don't think that's a sting, guys.
I like the arrow though.
Who's the diva now, Chris?
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, T-Bay. Let's see. Solo says Ty Jerome, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on who they start because they're missing guys. We have to wait on their starting lineup before we really make a decision on the Thunder. But it's a really good matchup. We'll get into that.
Yeah. King Carter says Ross, Giannis, or Embiid, Jokic on DK.
Give me Embiid, Jokic. But I like Russell Westbrook a lot. If you could, I would try to get Russ and Jokic.
Yeah. Royal King says he was a demon at, I don't know how to say this, Minhana?
Yeah, probably talking about the Chet guy because he's from Minnesota, so it sounds similar. But yeah, I mean, I don't know much about him. I saw him a few weeks ago. I was watching some Jalen Suggs highlights, and I think they're friends because this guy's going to Gonzaga. So yeah, this guy's a unicorn as well.
Yeah, T-Bay says Chet Holmgren is so nice. Solo says that's such a basketball player name. I can see him going number 1.
He's going number 1 if he stays healthy.
T-Bay says, no, Chet Holmgren is really skilled. He's not a unicorn. He is a centaur. What?
Well, I mean, yeah, Pokashevsky is as well then. I mean, probably less skilled than this guy, but I mean, Pokashevsky has a lot of skill as well.
Yeah. Wait, you're saying Pokuševski's less skilled than this guy?
Probably, yeah. This guy's crazy.
Oh, really? Wow. Scouting out for the stick figure man. Yeah, let's go second game here, Chris. We got to ramp it up because there's quite a bit of games here. So Golden State against 76ers. Warriors side, Juan Toscano Anderson jumped into the, I guess looks like the scorekeepers video review section. I think he cracked open his head or something like that, but super hustle play there from him. He is out. Eric Pascal out. Kelly Oubre and Steph Curry both questionable for the Warriors. Projected starters as of now: Curry, Bazemore, Wiggins, Green, and Kevon Looney. So this Oubre questionable tag, Chris, and Curry questionable tag, is that super important today, or is it big enough of a slate where we don't really have to worry about finding potential value in the Warriors if they do sit, or even targeting someone like Curry if he does play?
Yeah, so I don't know. Like, if Curry's out, obviously these guys will pretty much all be in play because Curry's just, his usage is insane. So we'll have interest if he does end up being ruled out. It's the second game of the slate. It locks 30 minutes after lock, so I assume we'll probably know this news in 10 minutes when the injury report comes out. If I had to guess, I would probably say that they're both playing. This is a national TV game here against Philly.
What's the spread?
The spread is 9 points favoring the Sixers, so I mean I think it's where it should be, even if he plays. So I think he ends up playing. So for that reason, I don't have any interest in him in cash games. Don't have any interest really in this entire team in cash games, but in tournaments you could play Steph Curry. Like we've seen what he's been doing, putting up crazy scores, shooting the ball insanely well. So I'm fine with Curry in tournaments. Probably the only guy that I'm interested in that format, unless we get news that some of these guys are out.
He's going for the scoring title, isn't he?
Is he? Who's first now? Beal?
Yeah. Let's see. NBA leading scorers. Yeah, it's quite close. It's like a 0.1 point differential. So they're definitely going at it right now, I think. So you got to keep that in mind, I think, when talking about Curry for the rest of the season. Plus, they're fighting for the playoffs too. So
play them both. Both teams are fighting for the playoffs as well.
Yeah, and both these guys definitely know what's going on. So yeah, that is a narrative right there. So that's a really good narrative. I like that narrative. Philadelphia side: Ben Simmons questionable, Howard, Tobias Harris, Seth Curry, and George Hill. All those guys are questionable for Philadelphia. Projected starters: Benjamin Simmons, Seth Curry, Danny Green, Tobias Harris, and Joel Embiid. A bunch of key pieces here: Chris and Simmons and Tobias Harris, Seth Curry as well. Questionable there. How do we handle that today?
Yeah, so it's kind of tough, but similar to the Curry situation, this game locks 30 minutes after lock, so we will know most likely before the slate starts. So I don't know. There's just a ton of questionable tags here. If I had to guess, these guys will play because I usually think these questionable guys do end up playing in national TV games. Ben Simmons here, he's 7-1 on FanDuel, so it's a really good price tag for him. If he does end up playing, I do have some interest there. But it's a pretty big. I don't know. Like we don't love playing Ben Simmons. It's a good matchup here against the Warriors. They're implied to score 116. So I think it is a good spot for Ben Simmons. He's been playing much better his last two games. Put up 46 against Brooklyn, and then last game against the Clippers, he put up 41. He got 4 stocks in each of those 2 games, so that's kind of been carrying him. But he's always been a good stocks guy, so I usually expect like 2 to 3 stocks from him per game. So I don't mind Ben Simmons for 7-1 on FanDuel. Probably the guy that I'm interested in the most here from this team in cash games. And then in tournaments, it's got to be Embiid. Like I even like playing Embiid and Curry together in the same lineup just because I like the national TV game. I think this is a game that they could play some extra minutes, especially if it stays competitive. So I definitely like Embiid in tournaments here a lot. He's probably going to be one of my favorite tournament plays.
Okay. King Carter is asking best forward under 5K on DK. Loaded it up, Chris, with the filter here. All the games here. So who do we have here? Just by projected or value? What should we look at?
Projected. So he said forward. Yeah, it's I don't know. It's kind of a
doesn't look good.
Like get 100 more dollars. Get to Josh Jackson. I think that's what you have to do.
See that? Yeah, looks like it. Anyone if you want to spend down maybe like value there, Chris?
Yeah, we have a bunch of really good plays here. Xavier Tillman, he's probably a lock here today. Yeah, I don't know. Like Sadiq Bey is also a little bit over 5K, so I would just try to spend up a little more, try to spend down a little less at some positions because it's pretty easy to. I think the build on DK especially is very obvious today, so we'll get into that once we finish with the games.
Okay. So next up we have the Chicago Bulls against the Celtics. Chicago side, Zach LaVine out, expected to come back later this month, health and safety, I believe. Do you know if he has it, Chris, or if he's just contact tracing?
No, I'm not sure.
Okay. Projected starters for the Bulls, the Lovables, Kobe White, Garrett Temple, Pat Williams, Daniel Tice, and Vucevic. Anything we can take advantage of here, Chris, with LaVine out? Obviously not the first game he's sat, but anything left over here?
So, I mean, Vooch is obviously their big guy, but it's not a great matchup against Boston, in my opinion. They're only implied to score 104, so it's not a great implied team total for them, but Vooch always has that upside. He's around 10K, I think, on DK, 9.9. So I don't want to play him there. On FanDuel, he's 9.1. It's a better price tag for him. But at the same time, I would just rather get the extra 2K and play Jokic. I like Jokic a lot today, so I would do that over Vucevic. The one guy I do have interest in is the guy that's been starting for LaVine. It's Kobe White on FanDuel, where he's 4.7K. DraftKings, he's 5.4, so still a fine tournament play. But I think on FanDuel, where he's 4.7, that's more cash viable. It's not a lock or anything like that, but he's definitely in the mix at point guard on FanDuel for 4.7. I like him a lot in tournaments there as well. We saw him go for 45 in his first start that Zach LaVine missed. I think in that game Sato was out. So, but at the same time, like it didn't really affect his minutes too much. He played 33 in that game, and then the next game against the Cavs, Sato played that game, and Kobe White still played 33 minutes. So I don't think it matters too much for him. But I do like him a lot in tournaments and maybe cash games on FanDuel.
Okay. Before I do Boston, Chris, question from King Carter. He says, why is the ownership down in Giannis? He's asking if he is on a minutes limit. Saying he thinks he's not on a minutes limit.
Yeah, so, I mean, his minutes have been low. So first game back, he played 25. Last game, he played 29. So they're definitely trending up, like probably going to get around 33 today. I don't expect him to get anything more than that. So that's why I'm not really interested in him. We also have a bunch of other studs. We have Jokic on this slate. We have Westbrook. We have Jimmy Butler with no Bam. So we have a bunch of studs. That's why it's kind of lower on Giannis. Giannis is also playing Phoenix, one of our least favorite matchups. So all things considered, that's why. But if you use him, like you can get a bunch of leverage on the field using him as your stud over someone like Jokic, over someone like Westbrook, just because he's probably going to be the lowest owned stud, and we know the upside that he has.
Okay, and then another question, Chris, for DK from King Carter. He says, Desmond, Avery, or PJ?
Definitely Dwayne Dedman.
No, he didn't say Dedman. Desmond Bain.
Oh, I thought you said Dedman.
No.
So what is it?
Desmond, Avery, or PJ?
PJ Dozier?
Yeah.
Yeah, give me PJ Dozier.
Got it. Another question. Deshaun says, if you have to choose Clarkson or Conley if he plays on DK, Chris?
Clarkson or Conley. That one's pretty close. I like both of them. If I had to pick one guy, I would go with Mike Conley probably, just because I think he has a more secure role.
Got it. Boston side, we have Ev Fournier out for them, Robert Williams out, Smart and Kemba Walker questionable, and then Tatum and Brown both marked as in. Projected starters, Kemba Walker, Smart, Brown, Tatum, and Tristan Thompson. Anything for you, Chris, from the Celtics today?
Not too much here. Like, we have Thompson with no Robert Williams, but at the same time, we have a bunch of better center plays tonight. So I'm not interested in him too much. Maybe in tournaments you could go there in the matchup against the Bulls. And then the rest of this really depends on if Kemba and Smart play. I think they're both questionable right now, so we have to wait for that news. If they're out, then these Boston guys like Brown and Tatum become viable as spend-ups. But I think if they're in, we're not going to be too interested in the Celtics here today. So a lot of it depends on the news that we're waiting on.
Got it.
Hopefully we get it in 2 minutes with the injury report.
Yeah, hopefully. Next up, we have Spurs here against the Pacers. San Antonio side, we have Trey Lyles out, Patty Mills back in, DeMar DeRozan in, and Jakob Poeltl in. Projected starters, DeJounte Murray, Derek White, DeMar DeRozan, Keldon Johnson, and Poeltl. Any interest there, Chris?
Yeah, so actually, I have some interest here in the Spurs today, actually. We've kind of been talking about it the last few times we've talked about Indiana. They haven't been playing any defense recently. They've been allowing huge scores. So I have some interest in the Spurs here. Vegas has the over-under at 230 right now, so that's the third highest on the slate. You have a tight spread. Spurs are favored by 1.5. So I have some interest here in the Spurs. DeMar DeRozan, someone I don't usually like to play, but I think in this matchup against Indiana, I don't mind it. If you look at his game log, he's been playing more minutes recently. So that's what I like to see. He played 37 last game, 39 the game before. So definitely trending upwards. I think they're in the playoff mix as well, so they're probably trying to make it. So I do have interest in DeMar DeRozan. Probably more so on FanDuel, but I think on DK as well, he's interesting. Tournaments, I'm fine with him there as well, but I think he's more of a cash guy. And then Derek White, I think he's also interesting on FanDuel. He's 5'5" over there. DraftKings, he's 6'5", so you can't play him on DraftKings, but I think on FanDuel, definitely viable. He usually gets around 32 minutes, so I like him quite a bit for his price tag on FanDuel. I just think these guys are good last pieces. I'm not going to go out of my way to kind of jam them in, but I think if we land there as last pieces, I think they're viable for sure on this slate.
Yep. I think there's only, 3-4 weeks left in the season, right? 4 to 5 maybe?
Yeah, I think a month or so. I don't know.
Yeah. So teams are definitely trying to push for that spot now, 100% now or never. Indiana's side, Sabonis, Jeremy Lamb, Turner, and Dougie McBuckets, all questionable. Projected starters, Brogdon, Karis LeVert, Justin Holiday, Sabonis, and Miles Turner. Anybody here, Chris, from Indiana? And I guess, how do we approach the questionable tags? What do you think of, I guess, two kind of big pieces, Sabonis and Turner there?
Yeah, I mean, even Lamb and McDermott, they're pretty big if they miss. Yeah. But yeah, I have no idea here. It really depends on the news. They played last night, or not last night. They played in the morning yesterday, I think. So it's a back-to-back. I have no idea. It really depends on the news. I don't know if they're going to play or not. If they don't play, we are going to have interest in like Goga probably. But at the same time, I think I mentioned it with someone else at center. I think Tristan Thompson. We have a ton of centers here today on the slate, so maybe it doesn't matter too much. But I mean, if they're out, if Sabonis is out, especially Brogdon and LeVert, they become good plays. So it really depends on the news here.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. Thunder against the Wizards. Let me just load that up. Where is it? Okay, got it. OKC side, we have Muscala, Gabriel Deck, Josh Hall, Luguentz Dort, and Roby, all out for them. Projected starters, Maladin, Svi Mihailuk, Pokuševski, Baisley, and Moses Brown. So, yeah, a few guys resting here, Chris. Gabriel Deck secured the bag, hasn't played. Interesting contract there. Is he supposed to be really good? Like, why would they sign him like that?
They probably have to meet a minimum salary or whatever payroll in their salary cap. I have no idea.
Yeah, but who do you like here on the Thunder?
So we got news that, like you said, Dort is out today, Roby is out. So those are the two important guys because they both played yesterday. So I'm interested to see who they start. It's a really good matchup against Washington, one that probably our favorite matchup to target in the league this year. So I have interest here in some guys. I think Svi is pretty interesting. If he gets the start, he's 3-6 on FanDuel. He's started in the past. He hasn't been starting recently, though. So we have to wait and see on that one. He's 4-1 on DK, so probably not as viable there. But I think on FanDuel, like I said, 3.6K. If he ends up starting, he's probably going to be in my core at the second shooting guard position. But it's all dependent on if he starts. We'll have to wait for that news. Pokuševski, he's also pretty interesting. I think he's going to start for sure. He's 4-8 on FanDuel. I think that's a good price tag. The problem is we have two kind of obvious plays at power forward on FanDuel in Isaiah Stewart and Xavier Tillman. So maybe if you don't want to play Xavier Tillman, you could play Pokuševski ahead of him, but I wouldn't play Pokuševski ahead of Stewart. But I do think he has a lot of upside here in this matchup as well. He went for 41 last night against the Raptors, played 28 minutes, so he has a lot of upside. He got 6 blocks that game, so that's probably not too sustainable, but he definitely gets a few stocks per game with how long he is. So I like him. Baisley, fine with him as well. He's 5-5 on FanDuel. Power forward, though, so I don't love that. He's 6-4 on DK, so that's a little bit too expensive for me. So, I mean, it really depends on who they start. Like, if they start Ty Jerome, he'd be interesting. So, yeah, like I said, it depends on what they end up starting.
Okay, let's go over the Wizards. Rui Hachimura out for them. Alex Len questionable. Davis Bertans back in. Projected starters, Russ Westy, Brad Beal fighting for that scoring title with Curry. Curry's closing in, so Beal needs to have some big games, Chris, to keep to stay first there. Denny Avdia, Bertans, and Len all projected to start. Anybody you like here on the Wizards, Chris, going up against OKC?
Yeah, so same thing as always with the Wizards. It's their two guys up top. This is the second highest over-under on the slate. But they have the highest implied team total because the spread is so big. They're favored by 12.5. I don't expect the Wizards to blow out the Thunder so much that their starters get limited minutes. I just don't think the Wizards are that good, but I do think this game will probably end in that 12-point range. So I think the spread is accurate here. But yeah, like I said, I have interest in their guys up top with Westbrook and Beal, both super good plays. Westbrook is 11.5 on FanDuel, 11K on DK, so the FanDuel price is probably a little expensive for me. Don't know if I could get up to that price tag right now. I mean, if you fade Jokic, you could probably do it, but I kind of prefer Jokic over Westbrook here, so I like that more on FanDuel. I think Beal is the guy on FanDuel who's going to be a lock for me. He's 8.5K over there. DraftKings, he's 9.2K, so still a pretty good price tag for him on DK. But I think the FanDuel price tag is just way too cheap, so you got to lock him in. He's in my core currently. And then on the flip side, like I was saying, with Westbrook, he's 11K on DK, so we have so much value with the Pistons here. We have Frank Jackson for 3.2, Killian Hayes 3.7. We have Josh Jackson for 5.1, and then we have Dwayne Dedmon with no Bam for 3K. So it lets us get up to 2 studs here on DraftKings. So I think you could play both Westbrook and Jokic here. You don't have to make the decision between the two. So I love playing Jokic here on DraftKings where you get the triple-double bonus, less points deducted for turnovers. So yeah, definitely playing Jokic here on DK.
Yeah, what happened to that 2:30 Pacific time injury report, Chris? Is it nothing on there?
Yeah, I guess not.
Crazy. Next up, Phoenix against Milwaukee. Phoenix, Abdel Nader out for them. Cam Johnson back in. Projected starters, CP3, Devin Booker, Bridges, Crowder, and DeAndre Ayton. Anything here, Chris, facing the Bucks that we can take advantage of?
I mean, I don't know. Like, this is the highest over-under on the entire slate. We have a tight spread of 2.5. But I really don't like playing the Suns. I don't think it's necessary here. I don't think we need to spend up for any Phoenix Suns like Chris Paul or Devin Booker. I just prefer other guys in their price range. In tournaments, I think they're viable. I probably prefer Booker. I think his price tag is fair for tournaments on both sites. He's 8.4 on FanDuel, 8.8 on DK, so don't mind him in tournaments, but don't need it in cash games here. The one guy that's probably cash viable is Mikael Bridges. He's 4.9 on FanDuel, 4.8 on DK. I think as a last piece, he always kind of fits that mold. I expect him to probably get 30-plus minutes here in this matchup. Game log hasn't been too good. He's a little inconsistent, but as a last piece, I definitely don't mind that as a play. He's probably the only guy that I'm going to consider in cash games here.
Okay. Bucks side, we have DiVincenzo marked as questionable, projected starters. Drew Holiday, DiVincenzo, Middleton, Giannis, and Brook Lopez. So we had some talk about Giannis already, Chris, his ownership minutes, but they've been trending up, like you said. This DiVincenzo questionable tag, is it really important today or not really?
No, it doesn't really matter to me. With Giannis back, he's the only guy that I'm interested in from this team. But we kind of talked about it earlier with the fact that there's so many other studs here on this slate. We have Westbrook, we have Jokic. I prefer them in cash games just because Giannis is facing the Suns, one of the best defensive teams here in the league this season. So that's why I don't love Giannis in cash games. But I think in tournaments, he's probably one of my favorite plays. I probably like him more than someone like Embiid, who I mentioned earlier, just because I think he's going to be the lowest owned stud here going up against the Suns. We've seen the upside that he has. He's been on a little bit of a restriction lately, so people will probably shy away. But I do think it's a good spot to get Giannis, especially in tournaments here.
Okay. Let's load up the next one. Houston against Miami. Houston side, Sterling Brown, Nwaba, Danwall House, Dante Exum all out. Eric Gordon also out. John Wall probable. Projected starters, Kendrick Nunn, Duncan Robinson, Jimmy Butler, Trevor Ariza, and Dwayne Dedmon there without Bam Adebayo, like you already said. So yeah, how do we take advantage of no Bam? Is it just Dedmon there, Chris, for you?
No, so it's Butler mainly. He's the guy that gets the...
Oh, wait, sorry. I don't know why. I did the Houston injury news, then I did the Miami starting lineup.
So who should we talk about first?
I guess we can do Miami because I already did that. But yeah, let me just quickly go over Miami's injuries. Bam is out. Butler questionable. Iggy questionable. Tyler Hero questionable. Dragic questionable. Gabe Vincent probable. There you go.
Yeah, so bunch of questionable tags here. That's what we need to watch for. But with no Bam, he's resting. I think he's resting on the back end of a back-to-back here. They said he has a knee injury, but I think it's rest. So Butler didn't play yesterday. They said it was an ankle. I thought that was rest. So I think he's going to play today. No Bam Adebayo, so I think he's one of my favorite plays on this slate. He's 9.3K on FanDuel. DraftKings, he's 9.6K. I think you can actually play him alongside Westbrook and Jokic on DK just because we have so much other value. So he's one of my favorite spend-ups if he does play. I like him quite a bit. And then we have Dedmon, who you also mentioned. He's 3K on DraftKings. I think that price tag is a lock for me. FanDuel, he's 3.9. But the thing is, he's a center. You kind of lose a bunch if you play him there. Can't play Jokic. I think he's a good play. I just don't think the opportunity cost playing him at center, where you can only play one, is worth it here on this slate in cash games. I think in tournaments he's definitely viable on FanDuel. But on DraftKings, that's where I want to play him for the minimum. He helps us spend up for all the other studs, so I like him a lot. And then Dragic, he's also questionable. He's 4.4K on FanDuel, so super cheap price tag for him. He played 31 minutes yesterday, so I'm not sure if he ends up playing here today. That's going to be news that we have to watch out for. But he played 31, like I said. He got 40 fantasy points. So this price tag is super cheap for him. I think if Hero misses this game and Dragic ends up playing, probably going to lock in Dragic, but we have to wait for the news. But yeah, the price tag for him is definitely very appealing here.
Yep. Houston, I already went over injuries there, Chris. Projected starters, Wall, Porter, Kevin Porter Jr., Jay Sean Tate, Kelly Olynyk, and Christian Wood. Anything on that side?
Not too much here for me. Usually we have some interest in like Kevin Porter, Christian Wood, John Wall, but it's not a great matchup here. Pace down spot against the Heat. Maybe John Wall in tournaments, just because, I mean, we know how much usage he demands. Just a ball hog, so we kind of like that in DFS. So I don't mind him in tournaments, but the other guys I'll probably stay away from. It's the back end of a back-to-back for the other guys. Obviously, John Wall rested yesterday, playing today, so don't mind it. Don't mind John Wall in tournaments, but nothing here for cash games.
Okay. Let's move on to the next game, Memphis Grizzlies against the Denver Nuggets. Let's go over Memphis first. Dylan Brooks questionable, Brandon Clark questionable, Melton and Justice Winslow questionable, Jaren Jackson Jr. doubtful, and then Jonas Valanciunas marked as out. Projected starters: John Morant, Grayson Allen, Dylan Brooks, Kyle Anderson, and Tillman. Who do you like here, Chris, on the Memphis side today?
So on the Memphis side here, big news is the Joe Val concussion. So he's out. Jaren Jackson is doubtful, so he's probably returning soon because he's just been listed out for the entire season. Today he's doubtful, so he's probably coming back in a few games. So with Joe Val out, I probably expect Xavier Tillman to get the start here. In past games that Joe Val has missed, Tillman has gotten the start, so I think today isn't going to be any different. He's 3.4K on DraftKings, 3.5K on FanDuel, so I think he provides us with really good value on this slate. Probably can't play him if he doesn't start, but like I said, I think he does end up starting. So I do like him a lot. Probably the only guy that I like here. Maybe Brandon Clark as well. Brandon Clark is 4.1K on FanDuel. I think that's a pretty interesting price tag. He's 4.2 on DK, so interesting price tag there as well. But the questionable tag makes it a little concerning. He's probably more of the tournament option here, whereas Xavier Tillman is the cash game guy.
Okay. Denver side, we have Monte Morris marked as out. Projected starters: Campazzo, Barden, Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., and Jokic. Jokic, you've mentioned a few times already. He's one of the studs you want to target today. No Jamal Murray there with the injury a few games back. Any other reasons why you really like Jokic today, Chris?
Just because he's very easy to get to. He's 11K on DraftKings, 11.1 on FanDuel. We have all this value, which makes it easy to get to him. So that's why I like him. Pretty good matchup here. They're implied to score 117. He's been playing out of his mind. He only played 27 minutes last game against Houston, went for 65 fantasy points. So, I mean, without Jamal Murray, the ball is in his hands literally every possession. He's initiating offense, shooting the ball, just doing everything. So, Jokic, I love Jokic here. Both sites, I think he's probably going to be my favorite spend up if I had to pick one guy. So, yeah, it's just Jokic here for me. Maybe actually Michael Porter Jr. as well. He's the kind of the secondary guy now with Jamal Murray out. He's 7.7 on DraftKings, so that's pretty expensive. FanDuel 7.6, pretty expensive there as well. But if you look at the game log, he hasn't been paying off that price tag too consistently. But I think in 3 of his last 5 games, he's been over 40, so that's over 5x for his current price tag. I played him last slate. I think he only played 31 minutes, got 31 fantasy points. So I mean, definitely not a bad play. He's gonna get his shots up. Going to get a few stocks, going to rebound the ball. So don't mind Michael Porter Jr. as a last piece, but not going to prioritize him like I am doing with Jokic. And then actually last guy I'll mention here on value, we kind of talked about him a little earlier, PJ Dozier on DraftKings for 3.6. This is a guy that's, he probably thinks he's better than he actually is. He's been playing well ever since Jamal Murray has gone down. First game against Miami, he played 28 minutes, got 30 fantasy points. Last game, he played 24 minutes, got 18 fantasy points. So I don't mind him. He's shooting the ball a lot. Last game, he shot 14 times, 27% usage rate. So I don't mind him as a value piece on DraftKings for 3.6, but it's probably more of a tournament value piece.
Okay. Wait, why do you say that? He thinks he's better than he actually is.
I just don't think he's a great player. That's why.
Got it. So last game of this. Sorry?
I was gonna say he takes a lot of shots. He's pretty high usage. So yeah, that's why.
Is he like a Dylan Brooks for you? Like a chucker, or is Dylan Brooks good?
No, he's not really a chucker, but he holds the ball quite a bit, so a little bit different.
Got it. Last game here, the slate to go through, Chris. Utah Jazz against the LA Lakers. Jazz side. There's quite a bit of stuff on both teams here. So Jazz side, there's this guy called Udoka Azubuike. Do you know him, Chris?
I think he's played a few minutes this year, so yeah, I recognize the name.
Yeah, I'll pull him up as you go through the team, but he is out for them. D. Mitch also out. Favors questionable. Gobert and Mike Conley both probable. Arsen Ilyasova is doubtful, Chris. That is his real name, apparently. Projected starters, we have Conley, Ingles, Bogdanovich, Royce O'Neal, and Rudy Gobert. Anybody on the Jazz for you today?
So before I get into that, we just got news that Kemba is out.
Place your bets.
So place your bets, but probably have more interest in the Celtics guys now. Marcus Smart is likely to play, so it's not like too big of a a must target spot here for the Celtics guys just because Marcus Smart is playing, but it's definitely a little bit of a bump up for them. So I kind of like Marcus Smart a bit. I think he's interesting in tournaments. Jaylen Brown as well. But yeah, this guy, I do recognize this guy. He's a big boy center. Did he play for Duke or does that say Doke? It says Doke on my screen for some reason.
Where?
Under his Twitter.
Twitter?
No, on the basketball reference under his Twitter.
Yeah, it says Doke.
Is that a school?
Maybe his nickname?
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, on the Jazz side, it's a pretty tough matchup here. If I am playing these guys, I'm going to play the guys that kind of take advantage of the Donovan Mitchell injury. So I think Mike Conley and Jordan Clarkson, Joe Ingles as well. I think those three guys are the main guys that I want to target here. No one in cash games, but I think in tournaments you could play any of these guys. If I had to pick my favorite, it's probably Mike Conley just because he's probably going to get the most consistent minutes. He's going to get his assists. He's going to score. He's going to rebound a bit. So he does a little bit of everything, whereas Jordan Clarkson is more scoring dependent. So I kind of like Conley and Ingles a little more than Clarkson here. Just feel a little safer with them. But we know the upside Clarkson has in tournaments as well. So if you want to chase that, you can do that. We also got news that Tobias Harris is unlikely to play. So I missed that one.
Yeah.
So I couldn't place my bets there. But I think that's all good.
Did you get any good ones for Kemba, Chris?
No, I didn't want to go too heavy because I don't think if we got Smart out as well, I would have probably gone all in on Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. But with Smart playing, I placed some bets on the points and assists props, but I don't think it's too big of a edge. Obviously, it's a little bit, but I don't think it's too big. And then Tobias Harris out or unlikely to play. That's pretty interesting. Probably means that Ben Simmons is a better play, but he's also questionable right now, so we have to wait for that news. Is it Korkmaz's season again? I think he started the last game for Toby, right?
We got Simmons questionable, Chris. Is that from the injury report?
So he's still questionable. Korkmaz started last game for Toby. Korkmaz played 38.5 minutes. So if he's starting again, we're probably going to use him for value here. He's 4.7 on FanDuel. DraftKings Corky is 4.8. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I expect him to go for 38 minutes again. So it's a little bit of a tricky situation, but I like him a lot in tournaments. Cash games, not too sure because they priced him up. Last time he was 3.8K, and like I said, today he's around 4.8 on both sites. So Corky, he's a maybe. Probably more of a tournament play, like I said. Back to Utah here. I think I mentioned everyone actually because I'm interested in the guards mostly. Conley, Clarkson, and Ingles.
Yeah. Back to this guy, Chris. It's his name, Doke, nickname. His first name is Udoku. Doke.
Oh, yeah.
And then last name is Azubuki. Udoku Azubuki.
Yeah, not too hard.
Not at all. From Kansas, Chris, not Duke.
I thought it said Duke instead of Doke.
Basketball player out of Nigeria. Who else do we have from there, Chris?
Not sure.
T-Bay would know. Let's see. T-Bay says, I hate PJ Dozier. That guy's so cocky. You can just see it. Body language tells me everything. He shoots the ball every time he touches it. I agree with Chris.
Yeah. I think Giannis is also Nigerian.
Oh, really?
Could be wrong, but yeah, I think he is.
Wait, who?
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Thought he was raised in Greece.
Yeah, I think his parents are Nigerian.
Yeah, got it. Sean says Conley or Ja Morant on DK, Chris.
Depends. Like, if you're playing Jokic, give me Ja Morant just because you have him as a bring back. But if you're not playing Jokic, I'll take Mike Conley.
Yeah. Deshaun says Francis Nagunu. From there, I bet he'll be a hell of a center.
Who's that? Is that like a college player?
Francis Nagunu.
Is that the guy?
MMA.
I think I've played this guy a few times actually.
You know who was good though? Lucas Nogueira. I don't know. He's from Brazil, but he was such a beast for the Raptors. Where is he?
He was not a beast. He's also very old.
What the hell? How old is he?
Like 33, 34.
The broken career of Lucas Nogueira, the giant baby. What? Wow. Sad story, I think. Michael Turner says Taco Fall Nigerian, Chris?
I have no idea.
T-Base says, call me crazy, but I think it's a Kobe White kind of night tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think Kobe White's a good play here today.
Yeah. T-Base always says night tonight. Do you have to say tonight after night?
Kobe White night? No, you could just say Kobe White night.
Night tonight. I said that the other day too. Rondo says, T-Bay, why do you keep saying before every comment? Is it the wasp that stung you that's hurting? He's just expressing himself. He says, the wasp sting really hurt though. Jeez. Let's go over the Lakers, Chris. So we have Dennis Schroeder probable, Drummond probable, Markieff probable, and Mark probable. AD out, should be back next game or the game after that soon. LeBron James also coming back later this month as well, so that should be exciting for Laker fans. Projected starters for today, we have Dennis Schroeder, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Kyle Kuzma, Markieff Morris, and Andre Drummond. I'm pretty sure I saw like Kyle Kuzma's like a relative of his at the gym yesterday. There was a guy, he looked just like him. He had like the exact same haircut. I think he was probably like 6'2", not as tall, but looked 100% like him. Same haircut. Almost asked him if he was Kuzma's, like if he was related. But yeah, who do you like here on the Lakers today, Chris?
Yeah, I'm not too interested in any Lakers here. I actually placed a bet on them winning the championship, though. I think that's an interesting bet.
Today?
Just because, yesterday. Because I think, I don't know, KD is always hurt. Kyrie has his problems. Harden, he's hurt, so they don't play defense. So I kind of like the Lakers to win the chip. I think they definitely win it. Not definitely, but I think they win it this year. So I like that with the Lakers, but I don't like anyone in DFS today.
Okay. World King says, kind of feel bad for Isaiah Thomas. He was putting shots up after his last. Was putting shots up after the game of his last day for his 10-day contract.
Yeah, that was sad. I saw that. I saw the picture. Maybe it was a video, but yeah, that was definitely sad. He's probably not going to get another chance.
Was he bad?
I don't know. He just doesn't fit in the league. He's kind of old. He's not a good defender. Not a great scorer. I mean, he's probably serviceable, but I think he's too old. Teams probably prefer to give those minutes to younger guys.
Serviceable. Let's see. How much has he made, though?
Go to Spot Rack. Second one.
Let's see if there's reason to be upset for him. Did he get his...
Second tab.
Huh?
Second tab. Yeah, so he's kind of been swindled. Like, he was on that cheap Boston contract, and then he didn't get paid because he had the hip injury. He played through it, which kind of ruined his career. So He's definitely he hasn't made a lot of money at all for considering what he did during his prime.
Yeah, did he get Danny Ainge?
Yeah, he kind of got I don't know what he got, but it was he got swindled.
Like right about around here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what would he have gotten? Like another, how much could he got? Like a 4-year?
He's like a max player before his hip injury.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if he was like a worthy max player, but there were definitely teams that would have given him the max.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's kind of rough. But I mean, 34 million, that's not too bad. But I guess if you look at like what he probably could have got if he didn't get injured, probably at least another 70 million here. So yeah, that's quite a big difference, I guess.
I mean, not even if he didn't. I mean, injury didn't really matter. It's because, well, I mean, it mattered, but like if he didn't play through his injury and mess it up even more than it was, then he still could have gotten that contract. I think he played in the playoffs that year when he shouldn't have.
His sister was also in that car accident, right? That's one reason why he wanted to play, I think.
Yeah, that I don't remember if that was the year before or not, but yeah, I feel bad for him.
Yeah, agree. He was fun to watch too. Around here is when I remember IT fourth quarter IT time. What was it called?
I don't remember, but something like that.
He was pointing at his watch too, wasn't he? Like Dame.
I think so.
Was it IT time? What was it called? It wasn't. I don't know. But yeah, I think that's it for the slate overview. Let's go into the 3 key plays here. So start with FanDuel first, then DK, like we always do. Core plays for DraftKings, Jugga. In a sec, we'll do that after these 3 key plays on each site. So first up, Chris, overall play of the day. On FanDuel, safest play in your eyes, cash tournaments, all formats. Who do you have there?
Favorite play here on FanDuel. Give me, I would say Jimmy Butler, but he's questionable, so I'll say Jokic.
Okay, value play. Who do you have?
Value play on FanDuel. I'll go with Isaiah Stewart for 4.8.
There we go. Tournament play. Who's your guy?
Tournament play. We talked about a few studs. We talked about Embiid quickly. I kind of like Embiid without Harris now. I kind of like Giannis as well because I think he's going to be way under-owned. So it's one of those 2 guys. Give me...
Ben Simmons also questionable.
Yeah. So, yeah, give me Embiid. But, I mean, Giannis is right there, too. Okay. I think Embiid's going to probably have more ownership now with Harris out.
Okay. DK, Chris, overall play there. Who's your guy?
DraftKings, give me Jokic again.
Okay. Value play. Who do you have?
So there's a few more value guys here on DraftKings. We have these Pistons like Killian Hayes for 3.7, Frank Jackson for 3.2. We have Josh Jackson for 5.1. But I think my favorite is probably Dwayne Dedmon for the min.
Okay. And then tournament play, DK, who do you have?
I can't say Embiid here because I already have 2 centers, so give me Giannis.
Okay. Let's do the cores here. Deshaun's asking
we got news Miles Turner is out today, so we're probably going to get the rest of the Pacers news here.
Okay. Sean says, how is Jeremy Lin doing, Chris? He trained in Vancouver like a few summers ago. I don't know if he still does that. Have you seen Jeremy Lin, Chris, lately?
No, I have no idea. I think he was in the G League bubble. But yeah, he was training in Vancouver during the what's it called when he had the injury. He was just doing his rehab here. He doesn't normally train here.
Yep. How did he look in the G League? He looked fine. I think he was scorching there for a bit.
I have no idea.
T-Base says, I don't feel bad for Isaiah Thomas at all. Get that garden gnome out of the league for good. Comes in fat as ever. Stay out of the league, bro. Jesus.
I like him. I think he's a solid guy. That's why I like him.
Those are harsh words for someone crying about a wasp sting. Wasp bite. Let's see. Solo. Actually, wait. I have a question here from Jugga about the core plays. So if you did sign up, actually, there you can do all the core plays here. There's a filter here, so you can click that. You should be able to see them directly in the tool, but we'll go over them now anyway. But we're doing FanDuel first. But yeah, that's how you do it here under the player name. Click that. But yeah, here on FanDuel, Chris, you have Jokic, Butler, Beal, and Isaiah Stewart. Do you want to just quickly recap why you like these guys?
Yeah, so let's start with Beal here at the top, or I guess just stay on one page so I can see them. So I guess we'll start with Jokic here at the top. 11. Okay, we'll start with Beal at the top. 8.5K. Really good price tag for him. We projected him for almost 46. So that's really solid point per dollar. I think he's way too cheap here.
Kemba out.
So I like him a lot. Yeah, Kemba out. We know about that. We placed some bets on that already. Isaiah Stewart, 4.8K. Really good price tag with no Jeremy Grant, no Mason Plumlee. I expect him to be one of the most chalky plays on FanDuel today. Jimmy Butler, he's obviously questionable, but Bam is out today, so Jimmy Butler's going to have a larger role. Pretty easy to get to on this slate, so I like him. And then Jokic, 11-1, no Murray. Just been putting up crazy numbers, so I like Jokic a lot here.
Okay. Which ones do you want to go over, Chris?
Let's do the first two.
Okay, we'll do the first two. Okay.
Yeah, so this one's pretty close. We have a few questionable guys in both lineups. So we have Dragic here. He's questionable. He's 4-4, so if he does end up playing, it's a really good price tag for him, considering Bam is out, considering Hero is likely out. He was downgraded to out, then upgraded back to questionable. So we'll have to wait on that news, but even if he plays, this price tag is good for Dragic. Beal here, we locked him in. Butler locked him in. Stewart locked him in. And then Tillman, 3-5 with no Joval. I like that a lot. I expect him to start here. And then Jokic, we locked him in. So we have this 3v3, Derek White, DeMar DeRozan, and Mikael Bridges versus Ben Simmons, Svi Mykhailiuk, and Michael Porter. So this one, it kind of depends on the news we get. So if Ben Simmons ends up playing, I like the second side a lot more. We get upside with Svi if he ends up starting. I think he probably does start here today with Dort out. So I like Svi, and then we got Michael Porter Jr. as well. First side, we get two Spurs, which, I mean, I said I was fine with it. I am fine with it as last pieces, but I don't feel great with two of them. And we also get Bridges, who's kind of an exercise guy. So I kind of like the second side. I wouldn't be surprised if the second side actually moves ahead of the first one once we get confirmation that Ben Simmons is in, or I should say if we get confirmation that Ben Simmons is in. So I like the second side.
Okay. Let's go over DK here. Cores. So it says FanDuel main slate is block party eligible. What is that? What is that, Chris? That's a good question. What is that?
I think it's the big contest. Let's see what it is. I can probably see quickly. So it's the big tournament. If you want to look it up, it's FanDuel.com/NBA-block-party.
Dash
NBA
what?
Block-party.
Well, NBA dash.
Yeah, dash. Yeah, so whatever this is, build NBA it's like a FanDuel ad, so I guess we're doing FanDuel ads now. Build NBA shot contest lineups from today to whenever with a defensive state of mind. The more blocks your lineups get, the more points you get in the block party. We'll add together your top three lineups with the most blocks to get your overall score. Yeah, so I mean, these are all these bonuses are all pretty meaningless. Like even if you hit it, you're probably gonna get like $3. So I don't know. I don't really pay attention to these too much.
Pass.
But that's what it is.
Pass. So yeah, cores here on DK, Chris. Jug is asking about them. We got Westy, Jokic, Josh Jackson, Dwayne Dedman. Quick recap. Why do you like these guys here on DK?
Yeah, so I think these two studs are easy to get to with all the value that we'll see once we build the lineups, all this Pistons value. And then we have Josh Jackson for 5-1. Really good play with the guys they're missing. And then Dedman for 3K with no Bam. I think he's going to start most likely. So I think you got to play him here.
Okay. Lineups. Which one do you want to go over? Which ones?
Let's look at the first two. I kind of said it earlier. I think the team on DraftKings is very obvious right now. So maybe the Turner news will change it. Maybe the Harris news will change it, but I don't think so. Just because we're still taking advantage of a lot of news here. So both lineups have Killian Hayes 3-7, really good price tag for him. Like I said, they're missing Kojo, they're missing Jeremy Grant, they're missing Ellington, Magruder, Plumlee. So they're missing a ton of guys. Josh Jackson, 5-1, locked him in. Dedmon locked him in. Westbrook and Jokic locked him in. And then same thing with Tillman, as we talked about on FanDuel. Likely to start with Joe Val out. And then we have the 2v2, Frank Jackson and Jimmy Butler versus Beal and Dozier. I kind of said it earlier. I think the first side is just much better than the second side. Projections agree, almost 2 points ahead of the next team. So I really like the first side. I don't really see a reason to play the second side. Like, Frank Jackson is really good value here. Jimmy Butler is a great play with no Bam. Beal is a great play, but Dozier, I don't love him. So I like the first side a lot more.
Okay. Let's go over the single game slate here for Royal King. Single or after hours? Utah Lakers or?
We could do Utah Lakers.
Okay. Let's see what we get. It looks like just Rudy at the MVP, one Drummond. Actually, one Drummond in the... There was like an early game slate with the Lakers playing. Do you remember who they played?
Utah.
Yeah, Utah. I think I locked in Drummond at the MVP on DK. I think I got like first in the tournaments there. So I love Drummond though. But yeah,
what do you see? The game when they rested guys, but today, or that was the game when Utah rested guys. So today, Gobert is back, Conley's back. Obviously, Mitchell is still out. So I'm actually playing this slate. I think it's pretty interesting. Lakers, they have a bunch of guys probable. I think they're all going to be in. So you have to watch out for that news. But I think they're all going to be in, like I said. But yeah, you can get different here by going, I don't know, Conley or Drummond at the MVP. I think both of those guys are viable. I think both could beat Gobert. Gobert is probably the likely one to win. Obviously, he's popping in all these lineups at MVP, but you could go with Drummond or Conley at the MVP slot. I think for value, Markieff Morris is the guy. Clarkson as well. The thing with this slate, if you're playing it, I would set a rule to not play Drummond and Montrezl Harrell together. That's the only rule I would set here. I think that's definitely one you need to set if you're playing tournaments in this slate.
Yeah, I agree. There's a few here with the two. So totally
just show how to do it quickly.
Oh yeah, let's do some. I don't know what's it called.
Player groups.
Do some what?
Player groups.
Yeah, player groups. Yeah, just open up this player group here. Put in Trezl.
You're gonna have to put all four of him.
Oh yeah. Trezl.
Well, actually, you probably wouldn't because he's not gonna pop much on all the positions. Probably just pro and util, but you could do all of them.
Yep, and then Drummond.
Oh. We got news that Butler and Hero are both out. Dragic and Iggy are in. Let me just see if I can bet on this.
Yeah, while you do that, I'll just go over this. So you just put all the guys here that you want to target, and then you just set a rule here, 0 to 1. So that means every lineup can't have more than one of any of these guys in this group in the lineup, and then it's also allowed to have 0. So you won't have Drummond and Montrez here in the same lineup anymore. So that's a pretty big one, I think, because they're not going to be splitting the floor. I don't think they'll both have big games at the same time, like Chris said. Dragic in as well, Chris. Did you place your bets?
Yeah, I'm placing a lot of bets on Kendrick Nunn right now because he's the only one I have here on my site with props, and I think he gets a huge bump. So placing a lot of Kendrick Nunn bets.
Nice. Let's see. Did want to show one thing actually, Chris, before we wrap it up here. Obviously, I I think the lineups will change quite a bit now as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, we could just quickly, we don't have to go through the entire thing, but we could exclude Butler and see what it gives us.
Okay. Well, the projections also will update automatically, so I'd rather just wait for that to happen than to do them here. Kelly Oubre revenge game, Chris, from Solo.
Yeah, I can't do it. He's coming off the bench. Bazemore is starting over him, so definitely can't do that.
Yeah. Do you see anything different here? Oh yeah, we had Butler, so yeah.
Yeah, like I said, we have to exclude Butler. So yeah, I mean, it's probably going to change once projections update. Kendrick Nunn, I think he's going to become a really good play. I'm not sure what his price tag is. Let me see. FanDuel, Miami, Nunn, 4.8. So really good price tag for him. No Hero, no Butler, no Bam. Dragic is in, but still, I think Nunn is the guy that they're going to play a lot in this back-to-back. So he's 4.8 here. Like him a lot there. DraftKings, Kendrick Nunn 4.3, so I think you got to play him there as well. But obviously projections will update for that. Did you do DraftKings without Butler?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so these, if you're just watching the show and using these, this is what we have now. But things will change for sure. So you could look at some of these lower lineups, like lineup 10 has Kendrick Nunn right now. But at the same time, there's going to be other guys that pop now, like probably Robinson a little bit, Dragic more. So there's going to be lineups that have both of these guys. So if you're not a member, this is definitely a good slate to get in.
It's always a good slate to get in. I wanted to show one thing, Chris, that we're working on. We could do it quickly here. So this is over on FanDuel. I guess it's kind of weird to go over it now since we have quite a bit of projections that we'll have to update on the Miami side. But this custom model settings, which is pretty cool. I was playing around with it yesterday a bit, but basically working on our new feature here that'll let you guys kind of make your own, kind of adjust the projected fantasy points with a few different settings. So right now we just have 3 here, but obviously we'll be adding more as time passes. But right now we have something here that's average points per minute in the last X amount of games or N amount of games. So this right here, you can adjust the weight here, and then that will give the projections an adjustment based on how well the player has done in the last N games in their fantasy point production per minute. So if you do it at 100%, I think that'll make it use this. It'll give like 100% weight of this over the projected fantasy points. If you do like 20%, it'll give it a little bit less weight. And then you can adjust the amount of games. So like if you just want to look at like the last 3 games for every player, and just get players who did well in the last 3 games, who had the highest fantasy points per minute in those games. It's a good way of doing it. So I was doing it yesterday, but I think ended up getting a lot of Dort there, who's been killing it the last few games. Obviously had a good game as well yesterday, but it's an interesting setting here. We'll be adding more. Another one here, average fantasy points in the last N games. So you can adjust that too. And then this one here, implied team total. So the way these work pretty much is it will get the historic data for these different stats here, and then it'll kind of multiply their projected fantasy points depending on how much weight you give it. So I guess we can try something out, Chris. What do you want to try here?
Yeah, so you're definitely gonna have to make a dedicated video for this, because this is a confusing setting tool. But also I think the UI has to change a bit. Like probably have to make change the N, make that editable, instead of having the slider, because this is pretty confusing. But I think it's pretty cool. I think it's not for cash games, but I think in tournaments it's something that can be used instead of randomness. I think that's where it would have its use. I think the concept is good. It's pretty confusing now the way it's laid out. which will scare people off. So I think that's what we need to work on. But it's a really cool feature. I think, like I said, instead of randomness in tournaments, that's where I think it's going to have its value.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think you would ever use this in cash unless you're super confident in what you're doing, because the raw projections we have are perfect in every sport, I think. So you don't want to deviate from super sharp projections, because most nights the projections will land on what a lot of top professional, like pro players, land on. So there's that. But in terms of tournaments, I think this is a good way, like you said, instead of randomness, to kind of give you a different set of projections. But we'll be adding a bunch of different settings here. The idea is that you can sort of create your own weights to different things, and then I think it just gives you a bit more control. What stats you kind of value, what stats you want to prefer for the slate. So we could just try it out here quickly. Like we could just compare the two, like on FanDuel. I don't have any locks here, so we could just do like 20 and 20 on each, sort of see the differences here. So right now this is the last, I don't know, what do you want to put it at? 3 games, Chris?
Yeah.
3 games and then 100% weight, just to do an extreme example of it.
Sure. How does it handle guys that missed games?
What do you mean?
Is it just their last 3 games played?
Yeah. It should be.
Okay.
Last 3 games played for the player, so
what you're saying is, in the last, can you make it lower? Can you make it 2 games?
Yep. Let's build here as well.
Austin is saying it's a good predictive tool. You would make 5 to 6 different builds per setting and then compare them. It's also like, it's almost like you're simming the game, but I would want to download an Excel and then add ownership, build a leverage model. Yeah, I mean, we could probably add some ownership here, like even our ownership, because you can edit our ownership. You can add your own ownership values to the tool, and then you could build your leverage model directly in here. But yeah, you can just continue to DM me and let me know. But yeah, so this is 100% weight last 2 games.
Yeah, 100% weight last 2 games, nothing else used. So
this means that these are players who have been performing well in the last 2 games, right?
Yeah.
So Ben Simmons, he had the 46-point game. What's he project for? Does it show the projection?
I'm not sure if it's different. 38.37. No, we have to add that in.
You have to go to the all. I think if you go to all, you can see it.
Can you?
Yeah, I think it changes. Maybe not.
37.6 versus 30.
No, it's just not. Yeah, I don't know. It definitely needs some testing, but because I don't think the value updated, because he's gotten 46 2 games ago and then 40 last game, so it makes sense why he's popping there. It also uses PFP, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So it's using both.
Yeah, it uses both. But I think
we should probably add a slider there for PFP as well.
Yeah, we do need to add that in. Need to test it a bit more, but it's pretty cool. I was using it yesterday. I thought it was just cool how like it just put it in like guys who were kind of on fire recently. So it got like Dort in my builds, and I was just testing it out. Like some of the like 150 entry max, like the setting that I found was like 20% or like 30% last 3 games. Like some of the scores that in the back testing, they were pretty high, like top 5, top 10 in the 150 entry tournaments. No other settings used, just like putting it to like 30% weight and then last 3 games. And then
yeah, that setting right there is for the game log watchers. Yeah,
for sure. But then you have like implied team total as well. So if you value that, you can put that in there. Yeah, pretty cool. Need to test it out a bit more. It's not ready yet, but something that we are kind of developing right now.
Work in progress.
Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely a good one, I think, once it's done. Let's see what the differences are here. Are they the same? I think it's the same right now, though. It's like slightly different here.
No, that team, yeah, I don't know. But I mean, the idea is what we wanted to show for now, because I mean, it's not like it's ready or anything like that. But
yeah,
the idea is what we want to show.
Yep. Sean says Dragic or none FanDuel, Chris.
Wait, if you asked me something, my headphones died for a second.
Oh, Dragic or none on FanDuel.
Give me none because he's younger.
None.
But I mean, Dragic is cheaper, so maybe both. I mean, that second lineup has both, I think.
Yeah.
Probably both. I mean, it's definitely the Heat are awesome plays now because we know who's in.
Yeah. Is it a little different? I need to check it out. It was working in the back testing, but I think here it's not applying because the lineups are exactly, I think they're almost the same, the top few. Maybe a little bit different right now. But yeah. When I was testing it, we just had one of these. We didn't have these two here, so maybe that's another reason. Roll King says, who's in play with the Heat news, Chris?
None, Dragic, pretty much these guys that are popping. None, Dragic, Robinson, Ariza, Deadman.
Okay.
So probably their starters.
Trigger says, Ariza a top play, Chris.
Yeah, I think he's really good value. He's 4-3 on FanDuel, 5-2 on DK. So not on DK. I mean, he's still probably a fine play on DK, but he's not great value there. But on FanDuel, yeah.
Okay. Let's wrap it up. 40 minutes here before the slate starts, so we got to get crunching ourselves. Anything from you, Chris, before we do that?
No, I mean, hopefully everyone has a good slate. Lots of sports here, so lots of stuff, as you always say, to keep you busy.
Yeah. Last bit of housekeeping. So before we wrap it up, so check out our site, dfscrunch.com. Our optimizer here that we've been using throughout the show. Super exciting place to be. Good Discord community for all the sports here. So you'll get access to that if you become a member. We're always adding new things here, adding new features. So this model setting thing should be out there in like a beta version, I guess, in like a week, maybe later this week. So hopefully that'll be available for you guys to mess around with. But obviously it's a work in progress. We just because we need a lot of historical data to make it work. So still working on that, but should be a lot of fun once it's out. Had a lot of fun testing it out last night. So got a lot of cool plays, cool scores. Just doing this one setting here, nothing else. And it was like in the top 10 of a lot of tournaments there on FanDuel is where I looked. So that's pretty cool. That's coming up soon. But yeah, check us out. You can get a free trial if you're a new member, dfscrunch.com. Link is in the description of the video as well. So all you have to do is go to our site. No special link, no coupon code needed for that trial. Set up your account and then you'll get 3 days for free. You can cancel anytime before then and you're not charged at all. So check that out. Like Chris said, that I say every single day, there's lots of stuff here, lots of sports, every main sport, FanDuel, DraftKings, every slate for all those sports as well. So NBA today, there's 6 here on FanDuel, and then on DK there are, 7, 6, 8? I don't know, 8 or so. So lots of stuff here. There's MLB, NHL, UFC on the weekends. We have golf. We have esports. We have cars. We've got a lot of stuff. So check that out. And then other stuff for YouTube. Before you leave, if you enjoyed the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up. Helps us grow. And then make sure you're subscribed as well. We went over that earlier in the show. Chris was asking me how to do that. So make sure you do that. Hit the bell button and the all text there as well so you can get notified when we go live. We do the show every single day, 2.5 hours before main slate. So if you enjoyed it, be sure to do that. Come hang out again. Get your questions asked about the slate. Get your overview done here. And I think that's it, guys. We'll be in the Discord. We'll be working on the projections, making sure they're super sharp here. Making sure your DFS job is a lot easier. Part-time DFS, full-time results for the crunchers here. So yeah, this is all that stuff, guys. Be back at it tomorrow. So I think that's it, guys. Good luck today and see you all then. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah,